All right, it's time for the MyBookie Football Picks Show as we enter another weekend of college football as we start October and the NFL rolling along as well. He's Jim Dunaway. He's Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. MyBookie brings you the show. Go sign up right now at mybookie.ag. Get ready for this weekend. mybookie.ag, code next round. Here's what code next round does for you at mybookie.ag. When you sign up, you get that sign-on bonus, and this is what it is. The bet back bonus up to $500. You make your first bet. You lose up to $500. They put it right back into your account at mybookie.ag. Fire down and start right again at mybookie.ag. Code next round. mybookie.ag. Code next round. Don't forget that live casino, the casino and live casino that are there as well. Let's start in the college football game. And we will start with a game that I don't know that we thought the combined record would be what it is. Clemson at North Carolina. The Tigers are a 14-point favorite on the road at North Carolina. This Bill Belichick, I don't know if I call it an experiment, Dunaway. You mentioned this earlier in our live show. They've played two breathing opponents, and they've gotten blasted by both of them.
A total of 59 points in this one. This has got to be best roster wins for me. It's got to be Clemson, the old lay it or don't play it situation. But it is interesting that Dabo Swinney and Bill Belichick, with all their credentials, are coming into this game with a combined 3-5 record.
Well, I can't believe how bad Kate Klubnik's been in this Garrett Riley system. He is 94th right now in QBR. This offense is 116th in scoring offense, under 20 points per game. Now, this is a get-right game. Clemson coming off the bye. It's an 11 o'clock game in Chapel Hill. Clemson is 0-5 their last 5 against the number, but they're 5-1 their last 6 against UNC, against the spread. I like Clemson laying the points here, but it's an 11 o'clock game. Officially, I will pass, but if I played it, I definitely I am like Jim. I would lay it or don't play it.
Phil's get right for Clemson. There's no doubt. I like Clemson minus the 14 in this one. Georgia is minus 20.5 as they bounce back from their loss to Alabama. Kentucky coming to town. Nothing helps you after a loss like playing Kentucky. They'll do that in Athens. They're a 20.5-point favorite, total of 48.5. Nobody is more aware of those two numbers than Mark Stoops. Can he keep it inside the 20.5? He always does.
Georgia has not, Kentucky has not beaten a ranked Georgia team since 1988. You got to go back a long time, almost 40 years since the last time they pulled that off. They're only 3-8. They're a last 11 straight up. So Stoops, this thing is going in the wrong direction. But Georgia, we talked about how there's not dominant teams anymore. They still have somewhat inflated numbers. This is an inflated number, and they have not covered in 5 straight contests. 0-5 their last 5 out.
I will tell you, after seeing them in person, and they were at home, they didn't play with the same edge that Georgia teams of years past under Kirby Smart have played with. They played more Mark Richt-esque than they did Kirby Smart-esque. It wasn't the same nastiness or meanness about them in that Alabama game. Alabama was more physical. Alabama was the aggressor. In this game, though, I expect Georgia to be rededicated to winning the football game. Kentucky is I think we all go back to Georgia at Kentucky a couple of years ago, and we think Kentucky can muck this game up. This Kentucky team's nowhere close talent-wise to that bad Kentucky team. That bad Kentucky team was much better than this bad Kentucky team. Give me not edgy Georgia to beat Kentucky easily.
Yeah, and I think I would play the under here because, if you're Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart, you want to get confidence for a defense that doesn't seem nearly as dominant as it was before. They're coming off a shutout second half to Alabama. I think you can continue that for 4 more quarters against a bad Kentucky offense, which, by the way, through 4 games right now for Kentucky, they have yet to have a receiver catch a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
What I don't understand, back to the Georgia-Alabama game, is how you could open it up so much for Gunnar Stockton early in the game in Knoxville in that setting, and then at home against Alabama, not really open it up early in the game at all. They played almost not to lose against Alabama.
It's almost like Kirby Smart plays Alabama differently than he plays everybody else.
It was crazy.
Yeah, Georgia obviously wins this game. I think Kentucky, 8.5-minute drive that settles for a field goal at the end to get just inside the number. You've seen it before, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know if Stoops is playing for the win. I guarantee he's playing for the cover.
Iowa State is at Cincinnati. This is a big Big 12 game. It's hard to remember Cincinnati's in the Big 12. Their only loss is out of conference to Nebraska. They're a 1.5-point home favorite. Iowa State, one of 20 undefeated teams playing this weekend in the FBS. And if they're going to remain undefeated, this will be a fight in Cincinnati.
Yeah, the injuries at corners that LT first brought up, but the word came out late last night that those two guys not just out for this game, they're done for the season. And you're playing a Cincinnati quarterback that can sling it around the yard. Rocco Beck's good, but Sorsby is really, really good at Cincinnati. This team's been off the radar since they lost to Nebraska. Look out for the Bearcats.
Yeah, I do think it's two really good quarterbacks, and I do think Brendan Sorsby, he's got almost an 88 QBR right now, 14 touchdowns. He's going to have some opportunities. They haven't been good under Satterfield against the number. 5-14 against the spread their last 19 home games. And Iowa State looking to be the first Big 12 team to start back-to-back seasons at 6-0 since Oklahoma State in 2021.
Yeah, back in the glory years of Mike Gundy.
Keep in mind, though, not only the injuries there, this Iowa State team beat Arizona State last week in what was not just because of the injuries, a very physical game. They got to turn around and go on the road. That's a tough back-to-back for Iowa State.
Question coming in from our Stews. Duke -2.5 at California. Kansas -4.5 on the road at UCF. Anybody got any thoughts on those two?
Yeah, I'll take Kansas real quick. I do think this Kansas team's got an opportunity. Look, they're 1-6 straight up, their last 7 on the road. And UCF's defense has played really well up until this point, 21st in scoring defense, only 15 points per game, but they haven't seen a quarterback yet like Jalen Daniels. I know they've been inept on the road, but I kind of like Kansas in this spot. And as far as Cal, I did like Cal, but, man, the inconsistencies over the last couple of weeks. I mean, they get shut out and then they bounce right back and look pretty dominant this past week. I lean Cal, but I feel good about Kansas.
I like that Duke got their offense right against Syracuse, 503 yards of total offense against usually a pretty well-coached Fran Brown defense. They took them. And to your point, Jaron Kiove-Sagapolu-Tele has been really inconsistent.
Your favorite quarterback in college football, isn't it?
Yeah. So I sort of feel like Duke can go on the road. What's the spread on that one?
2.5.
2.5.
It's
Duke?
up to 3 right now.
Up to 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like Duke wins the game, probably by about 3 points.
Let's go to the middle of the day games. MyBookie.ag code next round. When you sign on, you get that sign-on bonus, bet back guarantee up to $500. Your first bet covered up to $500. You lose, they put it right back into your account at MyBookie.ag code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round. Down in the swamp, the Texas Longhorns playing their first conference game of the year as we turn the calendar to October. They are a 7-point favorite on the road at Florida, a very low NFL-esque total of 41.5 in this game. So not a lot of points expected here. Why do I like Florida again? They have bitten me twice.
I'm right there with you. And they've bitten me 3 consecutive games. You know, going back South Florida, LSU, and then what was the last game Florida had out? Miami.
Yeah.
And they have the offense has been awful. I can't explain DJ Lagway if you take away Long Island where he padded the numbers a little bit. He has been absolutely awful. And now he's going against Texas defense that is only allowing 7.8 points per game. But they are 76 nationally in passing yards. It's Arch Manning's first SEC road start in the swamp. I know they're coming off a bye, so I expect Sarkisian to have some things dialed up. Really good Florida defense. If Florida doesn't turn the football over, I think they can keep it within a possession. If I played it, I can't believe I'm doing this to myself again like you, Brown.
Go Gators.
I think I would play Florida.
I think I would too, because this is a save your season type win for Florida. Okay, we just beat Texas. We can get some things going in the right direction. I don't know what it'll do for Billy Napier's future. I'm just saying that for that locker room, they get a star receiver back who hasn't played all year. Lagway got to start playing at some point better, and Texas just continues to shoot themselves in the foot. I thought our guest Roman Harper made a great point on the next round, and you can go back and see that wherever you get our podcast, where he said that Steve Sarkisian is still learning how to call plays for Arch Manning and for this team. They've struggled in the red zone. You don't know what you're going to get. You can't call a crossing mesh pattern over the middle at 5 to 7 yards because Arch is missing that throw. Who does that remind you of? Jalen Milroe over the last couple of years.
But how does he not have this figured out? Like, okay, Arch is going to be our future. We had, a 3-year starting quarterback in Quinn Ewers. We tell him to kick rocks and move on to the NFL, and Arch is the future of this program. But I've got to change my play calling around him because he doesn't have the skill set.
I will say, one reason I like Florida plus 7 points in this game feels like 14 in any other game. That's a pretty big point spread for
that
these
total,
these offenses.
41.5, low
Very
total.
low,
I would
very
play
low.
the under.
Also in the middle of the day, the Alabama Crimson Tide trying to avenge a road loss last year at Vanderbilt. Minus 10.5 at home as the Commodores come calling a top 25 Vanderbilt team, unlike when these two met last year. A total of 55.5. Alabama coming off the big win over the Georgia Bulldogs, and Vanderbilt, a rare chance to play as an undefeated top 25 team on the road in the SEC.
It's crazy. So the last 4 outings, these two matching up, Alabama's been on average a 28.5-point favorite. You go back to last year where I believe this Vanderbilt team is better than last year's. I think the Alabamas are about the same. Maybe this one's a little bit better. But on the road in Nashville, they were a 24-point favorite. And now they're only 10. So you're taking 2 touchdowns away. You've got home field advantage. Such a low number. With all that said, Vanderbilt 5-0 for the first time in 80 years. Diego Pavia has played at an exceptional level. 12-6 as starting quarterback at Vanderbilt. He's calling out Alabama. National media is calling out Alabama. I think Alabama goes out. They pop them. They win this game by 17-21. I like Bama minus the points right now.
I would tell you Vanderbilt's most impressive win is on the road at South Carolina. They blew them out. But in that game, remember, Lenore Sellers hurt in the second quarter. And then Vandy blew them out. This Vandy team, road win at Virginia Tech, dominated that game. They've won the games. They gave 35 to Utah State last week.
And those weren't all garbage time points either. Utah State played with them for a little bit.
It was 28-20, I think. And then it may have been 35-26, something like that.
A little concerning.
Yeah, so they scored some points on Vanderbilt's defense. If Alabama's head's right, if Ty Simpson stays upright, my gut tells me Big Ryan Williams Day is coming this weekend. Big Ryan Williams Day. Alabama easy for me, too.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with you guys. I guess that's bad news for Alabama. I'm not going to save the graphic here, as they say on game day. I like Alabama big in that one, too. As we go to the nighttime slate, I'm about to give you the team that one sportsbook in Vegas says is the most bet team that they've got on Saturday. As of right now, we are talking live on a Thursday afternoon. As of right now, this is the most bet team.
What window is it?
It is in the primetime window, the most bet team they've got on Saturday. MyBookie.ag is where you can play all these games. Code next round at MyBookie.ag, and that is going to get you that bet back bonus up to $500. Or the bet back bonus works this way. You make your first bet up to $500. They're going to put it right back into your account if you lose. So you don't risk on that first one. You get a great start there at MyBookie.ag. Play with it again right away. Code next round to get that bet back bonus at MyBookie.ag. Also, don't forget their casino and their live casino. Great fun when you go to MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code next round.
It's going to be Miami or Mississippi State.
Miami.
Texas A&M. No.
Miami -4. That is the most bet side in terms of total bets that Vegas has as of Thursday afternoon. Tells you the public likes Miami -4 on the road at Florida State, who is coming off a loss at Virginia.
Yep, and this is going to be a desperation game for Florida State. We haven't seen a lot of Florida State-Miami matchups recently that have had this much at stake. But what gives here? You've got Miami's great rush defense, 9th in the FBS right now, giving up right at 76 yards per game, going against the number 2 rushing attack in all of college football. 336 yards per game, and the number 1 scoring offense for the Seminoles, even in that loss to Virginia, averaging 53 points per game. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. This is crazy, though. Did you guys realize a win over Miami, this is going to be Florida State's highest-ranked win since?
Miami's?
No,
Florida State.
With a win over Miami, this will be Florida State's highest-ranked win since.
Since Jimbo Fisher won the national championship in 2013.
You believe that?
I mean, that would be an astounding stat. I mean, we're talking.
That's correct.
We're talking a decade.
The 2014 national championship
more than a
game.
decade.
So when they beat Auburn.
Yeah, this will be their highest ranked win.
Wow.
Over a top 5 Miami team if they do get this win.
Wow.
Incredible.
I think Florida State's defense has been really good too, only giving up 19 points per game. I'm not buying Miami yet. Could be completely wrong on them, but I am taking Florida State plus points, and I'm thinking they're going to win the game outright.
My thought on this is I think Miami is the better team. Their defense flies around. They got a quarterback that won't get them into trouble. Castellanos is a roller coaster. He has greats. He has lows. Obviously, it was not his best game against Virginia. And that defense is what surprised me at Florida State against Virginia. I like Miami's defense to be really aggressive. Castellanos to be more mid than great like he was against Alabama. I'll take Miami.
We got 2 mids out of you today.
Yep.
Hey,
It's all of a sudden it's 2019.
That's
me.
right. We'll talk about Navy.
Florida
the midshipmen.
State, though, last week was the 30th anniversary of the big upset. And
Right.
remember, that was when Florida State could never lose an ACC game. They have lost 6 consecutive ACC games going back to last year.
There was a day they never lost them. One more college game before we move to the Sunday Bowl. The Mississippi State Bulldogs Dunaway are on the road at Texas A&M. They are now a 15-point underdog. The Ags coming off their low-scoring win over Auburn. State coming off their high-scoring loss at home to Tennessee, a total of 55.5 in this. But Dunaway A&M a 15-point favorite over State.
Listen, A&M didn't do a lot against Auburn. There were a lot to be concerned about for Texas A&M. I mean, I know everybody walked away rubbing their temples about Auburn and how bad they were. Mississippi State lost the game last week to Tennessee, but I left thinking Mississippi State was a better football team than I thought they were when they went in. And I felt the same way when Tennessee lost to Georgia. I was like, Tennessee's better than I thought they were.
I agree with you on both.
I still think Tennessee's a good team. For Mississippi State, Blake Shapen, and then what they have at wide receiver, I like Seydou Trior. I like their running game all of a sudden. I like what Jeff Lebby's done with their schemes. This will be an interesting game. In the end, Mississippi State is still too much to bite off on the road at Kyle Field. But this will be a fun game, at least for a half. But I'll take Texas A&M.
I'm laying it here. I think this is an absolute blowout.
Whipple.
Look, it's been all fun, and Levy's done a great job, and they're sitting at 4-1, and they've got a top 12 win, and they could have possibly had 2 against Tennessee. I think Shapen is good. This is a very improved team, but now you're going against an A&M team that gave up 1 yard in the fourth quarter, 176 total yards to Auburn. Auburn was 0 of 13 on third downs. And there ain't no cowbells around here. I don't think Marcel Reed has been very good, but I think Elko's defense is going to cause Shapen problems.
That'll be 14 straight SEC losses if they lose this game.
Yeah, well, they're going to lose this game. Now, they might get under the number, but I feel pretty good about A&M minus the 14.5 in prime time. Again, it's been a great story for Mississippi State up until this point, but I like A&M a lot here. And I don't think A&M's great by any means.
All right, let's go to the NFL games. You can play these Sunday games as well at mybookie.ag, code next round, mybookie.ag, code next round. That is how you get that sign-on bonus. It's the bet back bonus, bet back guarantee up to $500. You lose your first bet up to $500 and put it right back into your account to play with right away at mybookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, mybookie.ag, code next round. Interesting game in the early slate Sunday. Denver is at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, 3.5-point favorite. Total of 43.5. All they have done, as we pointed out earlier, is beat 3 straight teams that may win their division. Kansas City, we'll see about them if they can turn it around completely in the AFC West. But the Rams are likely going to win the NFC West, and then your Buccaneers are likely going to win the NFC South. That's their 3 straight wins.
But in the NFL, I always sort of like everything sort of comes to the middle. If you're 4-0,
right.
If you're 4-0, it's hard to go 5-0, right? There's a better chance you're going to lose. I know it's a home game, and I know it's Bo Nix, but there's something about what's not clicking for Saquon Barkley, what's not clicking between Hurts and A.J. Brown, and that Broncos defense. You're talking about an over-under. Give me a total in this game.
43.5.
I think this one is way under. This game's like 17-6.
This does feel low scoring. I would agree with you.
The problem with playing an under in Philadelphia is there's so many different scores. There's block kicks. We saw it last week. We saw 2 block kicks the week before, short fields. It's actually a higher total than I thought it would come at 43.5 with both these defenses. I do like Denver plus the 3.5. I don't know if they win the game. I could see this thing land directly on 3. But Philadelphia, one of 2 undefeated teams, along with Buffalo. They've been finding ways to get by, but I do think Denver's defense is going to give. Saquon hasn't been able to run it effectively, and Jalen Hurts hasn't been great. So I think Denver's defense is going to keep it really close, but I like the Broncos plus 3.5.
Yeah, the lowest.
As soon as I bet under, though, that's when Hurts says, you know what, I do need to throw it to A.J. Brown more.
That's right. It's time for me to show him I can throw. The lowest Sunday total, by the way, is the England game. Cleveland starting a backup in Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, that's even lower than Giants Saints?
Oh, Jim, it's 36.
Oh, wow.
That's an exceptionally low total.
Well, make sure you get to the stadium early so you can see the cadets march onto the field.
It is 37. We've got a backup going against a Brian Flores defense. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it really is. And on the other side, Carson Wentz was really sloppy with the football. I think he'll settle in with this offense, and I think Minnesota's going to end up being okay. But boy, that is that play is probably the under.
Yeah, even at 36 is probably the under, right? Another kind of low total is a game like, close your eyes, go back to the preseason, and I tell you, in October, Houston is going to be playing in Baltimore, and it's going to be favored. You would laugh me off the set here, and it's exactly what will happen Sunday. Houston, a 2-point favorite at Baltimore.
Well, look, Houston's defense is still legitimate. The offense has a ton of issues, but going back week 1 in SoFi against the Rams, they had every opportunity on a final possession to win that game, and it was all about defense. Like, they couldn't do anything offensively, but they had the opportunities. And then you go back last week, I know it was Cam Ward and a rookie quarterback on the road, but they pitched a shutout. You don't pitch shutouts in this league, and now you're going against Cooper Rush and not Lamar Jackson. I kind of like Houston on the road here. I know it's tough to envision Baltimore falling to 1-4, but it's going to be again, I would play this under because I don't know how either, as bad as Baltimore's defense is going to be, has been, giving up 33 points a game. I don't know how either one of these offense manufacture points against these defenses.
Houston also should have beat Tampa Bay. So they should be unbeaten then.
Yeah, the total's 41 that Lance is playing. Does it feel low scoring to you?
Yeah.
I mean, with those two quarterbacks, the way they're playing, I think so.
Yeah.
Washington, Dunaway, is at the Chargers. They will play in SoFi in L.A., a 2.5-point Charger favorite here. This is a beat-up Chargers team coming off a loss at the Giants.
And Washington gets Jaden Daniels.
That's right. They're getting healthy.
So you would say, okay, on paper, this sets up good for Washington to be what we thought they would be. But then the Chargers lost last week. Hard for me to see them losing 2 in a row.
Well, the Chargers are banged up. You know, we talk about how banged up San Francisco is. Chargers are right there with them, especially on the offensive line. Home field means nothing for the Chargers, one of the worst home fields in all of football, but it is Washington going East Coast West. I do like the Commanders plus the 3 here. This is one of those games that 2-2 can get them back over the hump. And I think the Chargers are the better team. I just like Washington in this spot.
And then finally, the Monday night game. We joked about this earlier, is that when you schedule this game on Monday night, little did you know Jacksonville would have the better record. Kansas City is favored in Jacksonville, -3 against the Jags, but Liam Cohen has surprised a lot of people with this 3-1 start.
Orlovsky talked about a change in the attitude when he joined our show. He said they are physical, both on the offensive line and defense. They've got a personality of running the ball, under center with Trevor Lawrence a lot more. That he's just changed the whole mindset. That being said, this is the one that Kansas City has to get, right?
They need it. I mean, sitting at 2-2, really getting their momentum back offensively with Xavier Worthy coming back to the lineup. The offense did look good against a bad Baltimore defense. But Jacksonville, I think this is kind of their barometer. Where are we really? I think, along with Indianapolis, 2 teams that will fight for that one playoff spot out of the AFC South. I like Jacksonville plus 3.5. I think Trevor is playing with a lot of confidence. ETN on the other side has been really, really good. Brian Thomas. I like the Jags plus 3.5.
Okay, but see, did you like the Texans to win too? That would put them 3-2. Then Indiana. I mean, they're all in the same division.
It ends up being a pretty good division. Tennessee.
The only reason I like the Texans is because you're going against a backup quarterback and their defense is that good. Texans have an offensive problem.
Yeah. If Kansas City wins and the Commanders do get the Chargers, what has happened? Then the Chiefs are 3-2, and now the Chargers have fallen back to 3-2.
Right.
There's the
but
Chiefs
maybe
back
Denver's
running for that division
if they win against Philadelphia.
But
it's
the
like
Chiefs are right back in that divisional race all of a sudden.
It's like you said earlier. It feels like most of the NFL does this. It all regresses to the middle, right? All right, you can play all these games we just talked about at MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on right there at MyBookie.ag and get that $500 bet back bonus. You make your first bet up to $500. They cover it. If you lose, right back into your account to play again at MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up there and use code next round. And don't forget their casino and live casino when the games are over. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Follow us on all social media at Next Round Live. And as you watch us on YouTube, please subscribe and set your alerts so you always know when we're live, which is 9 to noon Central Time every single day on the Next Round. And those of you that have us on audio podcasts, make sure you set your downloads to automatic so it downloads automatically every single day. And give us a thumbs up on YouTube. We appreciate that. All right, enjoy all the games. We'll see you at 9 o'clock Friday on the Next Round.